Hey there, welcome to the Fur Raider Workshop. I'm going to show you how to paper mache a balloon from things that you have at home that you can turn into sculptures later. Regular balloons, we have plenty of those, and I have paper mache plenty of regular balloons. And so today I'm going to paper mache, this right here. I'm going to paper mache an odd shaped balloon. So this is kind of a peanut shape. And so I've blown up the balloon, tied the end, and we will tie a string on the end. And this helps for drying purposes, so your balloons aren't rolling all over the place, especially if you have several of them that you're working on. Several different shapes can be cut up to make several different sculptures. Or if you're doing just a simple balloon shape, like this one, and that's what a regular balloon would look like. So, okay, so we have our string tied to the balloon, and then you want to take a piece of masking tape, and there we go, tape an end of the string down to your work surface so that your balloon won't fly away. And we have our paper mache paste that we made at home. This is 1 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of flour, whisked up in a saucepan over medium-high heat, stirring consistently until it thickens and just starts to come to a boil. Pull it off the heat, put it in a container to cool, and this stuff will keep in the fridge for, I don't know yet, at least 3 weeks. So that's our paste, and here's our balloon. We're going to be using newsprint. If you don't have newsprint, go through your junk mail and see if there's any of those advocate magazines or things that come in your mail that have the softer paper on the inside. You want a softer paper. If you can't find anything that soft, you may go ahead and use copy paper or printer paper. This is just printer paper cut up into small bits. Either is fine. And let's see. So we'll start at one end and start applying your pieces. And with paper mache, the concept of paper mache is the combination of the flour water paste with paper. That is what makes paper mache. There are different paper mache pastes on the market, and for years in a school setting, teaching in a school setting where you buy your supplies from a supplier and they come in, you have containers and multiple supplies, and you're there with your students and you can give them to them. I've always used Elmer's art paste, and it's a clear cellular plant-based paste. It's a little messy, and I've found with this quarantine that we're going through that flour and water cooked is the way to go. It makes a really strong paste. It's not as messy as the Elmer's paste, and it works really well. Just have to keep it in the fridge. So we are applying the paste both sides of each piece of paper, like so. Oops, that one tore, it's okay. And then you overlap each piece, smoothing out any wrinkles, just like that. Make sure that the paste is smoothed out, your wrinkles are smoothed out, and you don't have any areas where the balloon is showing through. And I like to go one direction on the first coat, and then the second coat we will go in a different direction so that you can see where you have applied your second coat. Without both coats on the paper, it will not be strong enough, and when you add more paper mache to it later, it could collapse on you a little bit. And another helpful hint, when you are paper macheing and you let your paper mache dry. It needs to dry overnight at least. Don't leave your balloon too long. If you leave it more than a day or so, it will, a day or so is okay. A week is not good, because what happens is the balloon starts to deflate, and when you add your final layer, it may shrink in a little bit and look like a raisin. So that's a little helpful hint for you. So I'm going to continue on with this layer and let y'all watch when I start working on the second layer. All right, I have completed the first layer here. Can you see that okay? Yeah, you can. And you can see that the layers go horizontally across the balloon. And my second layer, I'm going to go vertically around the balloon, and that way we can see where our first layer and our second layer, the difference between the two. So again, we're going to get our strips. And if your strips are too big, you may want to cut them down a little bit if you find that they're wrinkling on you. Smaller pieces will cover a spherical surface better than larger pieces. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that with these. There we go. All right. And just working around from one point so that you can remember where you started, and make sure you cover all the pieces very well. And overlapping is key, because your overlapping is going to actually create a third layer within your two layers. So right here where those two come apart, we can take another little piece and smooth it right in there. And notice how everything is lying down really flat and smooth. That's important. You don't want your paper mache to be loose or have a lot of gaps in it, because you won't get a nice structure to build with for sculpture. Right, so you see the process here. And, okay. I feel like a cat that's got tape stuck to her paw. All right, I will tune back in when I get this thing done. Hi there, I'm back. We're almost done here, and it's a good thing because I am just about out of paper mache paste. I'm actually wiping the bowl with my paper as we speak. All the way, I've got that much left to go. So we'll make it, But I'll have to make some more paper mache paste before I do the final layer. After you do your first two coats, you want to let your object dry at least overnight, if not 24 hours, so that it gets nice and stiff and hard for you. And then after this layer, I'll go over it either with craft paper or copy paper, depending on what I want to do with the surface. If you want to want the surface more of a brown, natural tone, you can use the craft paper, which I think is very pretty. But if you would rather decorate your piece with brighter colors, then the copy paper works well. So that does a nice surface as well. Oh boy, I really am almost out. Come on. I've been going through a lot of this, so maybe one more piece right there. I'll show y'all. Oh, maybe not. Maybe there's enough residual on here. I'm gonna have to go over this in a minute. Here we go. You shouldn't have that problem just doing one balloon. I've been doing a lot, so. All right, what I'm doing right now is I'm smoothing down any edges that may be coming up. In that area right there, because I was slow on paste, needs some moisture to get it going. Yeah. So if you do run into that problem and you run out of paste, go make some paste, let it cool, which is what I'm going to do this afternoon, and I'll come back and revisit this end because you can see it's not really lying flat like I want it to. See how everything else is nice and smooth? And this is not so smooth. I want this to be smoother, so we'll fix that later. But there's the first step of your paper mache orb, and you can hang it because it's got a string attached to it. And then I will show you later how to do your other two steps. Thank you. Have a good day.